All right, hey guys, Sam here with you for the update on by request here for Nano to Bitcoin. I've got a 4 hour up on Binance. It's the only place you can trade it. So it's ugly no matter how you slice it. I don't see another way to think of this other than as an A, B, and we're in a long 5-wave structure to complete a C down here. Now, boy, I'll tell you what, this count was not easy. So this seems fairly solid. So we get the, come here, like the 3, between the 38 and the 50, we don't overlap the 1, and it looks fairly solid. So you can make a pretty strong case here that we're in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're getting complexity and an extension in the 5th here. Now, right, so we can't that algo play can't finish here. We'd be below 0. So we're running out of room down here. But this count is really difficult. So here's what I was before I dig into this. What I would encourage you guys to do: bring up a blank chart and go ahead and put in the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now see what you come up with on the 5. That's a real challenge. This is a very difficult count to get. And it's kind of ugly because there's a lot of chop in it. So that would be a good test to see where you are before I give it to you. Right? You can always just come back here and check yours against what I've come up with here. No, my assumption is never that my count is the right count. This is a count that's technically valid. It could be invalidated, but right now I think this is our best read on what we have down here, and all working off the idea that the 4 is here. And we're putting in the 5. So let me go down to an hourly and show you what I've come up with here. Now it's really tricky because you can't, what you want to do at first glance doesn't fit. So let's see, where's my 4 here? So here's my 4. So open this up here. I may have to go to a 30-minute. Come back here. Where's that 4? Let's get this back here so you can get this subdivision. Because this was very tricky. Son of a bitch. Wish it would stay where it was when you change time frames. Okay, where is this my 4? There's my 4. Okay. All right, so got to go 1 here. Now, what's making it difficult is there's a couple of spots where you're really fudging to get 3 out of that. So this move. So if the 1 is here, this first drive up, it's a 5. There's just you can fudge it, but it's just a 5. There's no way around it. It's a clear impulsive wave. Well, then we get a very shallow B, right? So that's the only way to count that. And then you've got a little diagonal here that gives you a C. So obviously the symmetry is not great. That's not what you'd hope for here for a C. So we're truncated. We don't pass the A, and it's a very tiny little C relative to that A wave, but there's just no other way to do it. See, you can look at this and you might have been thinking, oh, well, maybe something impulsive is happening here because we had this big drive here that looks like you could probably get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of it. 8, possibly you would have been thinking A, B, C. Well, there's 5 up, 2, right? Of course, but it doesn't happen. But you can't come back to this and go, oh, well, that 5 is inconvenient, so I'm going to just call it a 3. Can't do it. Right? So you've got to dig this out here to make it work. So there's an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. Well, here's where it gets really tricky. Again, right? So here's your challenge, right? So if this is the 2, if that's correctly identified, you got to get an impulse in here, and you can't do it because of this. So your first thought is to come to what I have labeled as the B and go, okay, well, there's the 1, there's the 2, 3, 4, all good, but we have an overlap here. Now, the only spot, interestingly, where we don't get an overlap, so look at this. So right here, and it works. So look how we hold it here. So this, I propose to you, is the 4. I got my degrees. Yeah, okay. So coming from the 2. Right, so here's the 1 in green. So let me do it this way. So let's do this. So here from the 2, here's my 1. Now I have to go into an expanded flat, but it actually, if you really dig into the subdivision, it works because here's a 3, here's a 3, and then here's a clear 5 again, just like this was a clear 5. Right, so we have to go A into the expanded flat, so we go 3, 3, 5 into the C wave of the 2 wave of this degree. So we're 1, A, B, C into the 2. Now take note where that goes, right? So I just showed you. So if this is the 1, now we go through the 6, 5 here. So now it's kind of a conundrum, because you look at that and you go, well, you know, is an algo using an expanded flat? No, they're not. They're going to use the dominant pivot. So now you're looking, going, well, is that the dominant pivot, or is it this one? Right? If you come here to where the way an algorithm is going to look at it is that they're not going to do subdivision. They're just going to go dominant swing. What, right? Golden zone. Right? Look at the reaction at the first target. We ultimately, right, it keeps going, we get to third target. But I think if you really dig in here and start working with this, saying, okay, what would they use? Well, that's how you get your solution here. So this, because you're back here thinking, oh, wait a minute, now isn't the algorithm's going to flip there? Well, nope, dominant, golden zone, target, right? So we can, by process of elimination here, we can make a strong judgment as to what happened there. So for this golden zone target reaction, we know what happened there, right? And it makes sense. Now we try and fit an Elliott count around that to see if we can organize it within that rule set and see if we can get a handle on it. So if I pull that off, let's get this all cleaned up there. So 1, 2, 3. Now 3 is not going to be the longest here, but it's not going to be the shortest. So we come into this. So let's come down here. All right. So, all right. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3. 3 is longer than 1. So we go. Let's see here. I'll give it to you again here just to show you, as you should do this. So if that's the 1, that's the 2. Right. So again, this is how you lean into the 3. Highest probability zone for the 3 is the 168, 175. We get just far enough to get the 1618. So I like this. So again, coming back to this, you go, you know, am I just fudging this because I can't deal with that overlap? Well, when you start to really dig into it and look at those swing relationships, it works perfectly. Right. So you look here and you go, well, coincidence? I'll let you draw your own conclusions there. I would tell you not. There are no coincidences. So here we go. All right, so perfect tag here. This holds it. We don't overlap, down for the 5. All right, so what have we done at that point? All we've done is complete our one wave. Right? Not so easy coming off of that pivot up there on that 4, because it looked like it was going to be easy. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Did dumb work. So potentially now, all we've done here is from the 4, we've got our 1 now identified. Where are we looking for the 2? Highest probability zone between the 50 and the 618. That's right what we do. So it looks like I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again into a leading diagonal, A, B, C into my 2. All right, so let's scrunch up here. Right. So this is, yeah, we never do get there. Right? So we still have this down here. Seems like a reasonable spot for a target here if we're going to be finishing this down here. All right, now I'm not done yet because this was a bear of a count. So let's come back over here. So we've got that identified. We can pull that off. So picking up where we left off, 1, 2. Well, now I got to get an impulse. All right, so here I can get a 1 A, B, C into my 2. Oh, I think this was technical as well. So if that's my 1 and that's my A, B, C into my 2. All right, now we don't quite make the 1618, but we can get the subdivision here. It looks like we go 4 and you finish with a diagonal into the 3rd here. Now here's where it gets tricky. So I've got my 1, my 2, my 3. It looks like we go into an A, B, C, D, E for the 4 before we start down for the 5. So 1, 2, 3, triangle in the 4, and if we look at this, right, we're going to check all of them from the 2 to the 3. Well, here's the 50, right? Algo doesn't care about a triangle, right? So we can look at this and think, well, 4 here, 4 here, right? What do we do down here? We've already hit that target, right? So remember, algo doesn't care about a triangle. Already got theirs, right? So they've banged it twice now. Okay, so we come out of that. Now here again, really difficult to get a count here that works. So it looks like we can go 1, 2, 3, or coincidental, hitting an algo target. Again, I tell you there are no coincidences. 3, A, B, C into a 4. Now here's where it gets really ugly, and this, Had to check with a couple of senseis to see if we could come up with a consensus here. And I think this is our best estimate here as to what's actually happening. So double bottom here, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a clear impulse here. Well, now it gets very tricky. So, well, one, look at this. It's just all chop, right? There's very little sustained trend here. But if this is the 3, well, I can go, and I've got an impulse into an A wave here. Well, I can go A because this, I've got another impulse here. I can go let's see, I can go A, B, C. I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a diagonal. So I've got the subdivision for my B wave. Well, now I've got to go yet again, another diagonal. 1, 2, well, let's label it here. So from that, I got to go 1, A, B, C into a 2. There's my 3, there's my 4, down for the 5. All right, so I've got another diagonal in here, and in this case, an ending diagonal to give me so I've got this now. So I've got from this, I've got my A wave, I've got my B wave, and I've got my C wave. All right, so that's giving me, here's the 3, A, B, C into a B. All right, then I've got another impulse here. So this is turning into A, B, C. All right, now wouldn't that be nice if we were done there, but we're not done. So I've got my ABC finishing here, giving me a W. So from that, it would appear, well, so I can move this off. All right, so there's my ABC into my W wave here. All right, ABC into an X wave. All right, no other way to count it. A, B, C, same thing. You're finishing with the A's and the C's have most of, well, this is an impulse here. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, another diagonal to finish it. B, 1, it looks like 3, well, let's see. So we'd have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give us the C wave of the X. So I get an A, B, C into the X. Now it gets even trickier. Now I've got to go into an expanded flat. So I can go A, B, C into an A, B, C into a B, and then yet another impulse to give me my C wave of the Y. So putting the whole thing together as a correction, it would appear that we have done from this 3, W, X, Y. All right, and if I'm not mistaken here, let's look at this wave relationship, length of the W projected from the proposed X. Let's see, get right on there. So we're in between. We didn't, just for going through this, one of these was really close. So here's the 4 at the 38 when we get a couple of wicks through the target. So you've got a pretty solid case up here to make for this to be completing with that confluence. So that gives you your C of your Y, right? And then the reaction off of that would imply that now we're finishing up. So that would give us, putting the whole thing together, the 4 here, right, of this degree. So remember that the whole thing. So here's the 3 down here. Whether you could think of, if you want to simplify it, you can just go A, B, C into the 4. Now we've got a straight rip down, so that certainly looks impulsive. So we're off to a fairly good start. So given the scale, right, and the symmetry here, you'd anticipate that we're just putting in the 1 wave. So let me pull that off of here. So now we don't know that we're done here yet. But if you're just trying to put the roadmap together, it looks like could be a case for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 still yet to come. So my best estimate here is that we're going to look for, right, you know what to expect here, and then down for the 3, and 3, something like that, and then we're going to go down here. Now we got to be conscious of where 0 is, but that's kind of what we're looking for, something to finish down here. That would give us the complete correction. And that, right, so again, right, pause it. Don't look at mine. You see if you can dig out all that subdivision, because if you're watching this now, you won't remember it. So bring up a blank chart and just start working through all of those subdivisions. Do that measuring here. This will make you a better Elliottician here, right, if that matters to you. So was this, I don't think I had a median line here. I think it was too steep. Well, we're inside of it, so breaking here, that wouldn't be surprising to see that 2 come in around that point here. Let's see what that would look like here in terms of a fib pull. So if, and we don't know that that's done, but if that's, let's get that right on there. If that is done as a 1, we don't need that. So here's where we're looking for the 2, or somewhere in this range. Why not golden zone? You can see here this has been this whole area. We've got this area as resistance. I want to include that little pivot. We can do it that way. So resistance, resistance, resistance. Got through it. Right now breaking through, so potentially not a bad thought here that we'd come back up here into this range here before we head down for our, could be going lower here. We know a 3, right? This is our shorthand, but where's 0, right? You got to pay attention to where 0 is. So if we're looking over here, so this looks like it's got another 5 to come down and finish, right? If the 4 is correctly identified here, 1, 2, maybe could go get a full 1618 there. Something like that to finish us. So I sure wouldn't be on the buy side here. Right? If anything, the next trade is setting up here. If you get golden zone, that's not a bad looking trade right there. Now we don't, right, anywhere from the 50 to 618. We could be looking for that 2. If that starts to roll over, I sure would be considering that on the short side here. Right, understanding you can trade this here. If it breaks this, then something is wrong, or the wave relationships are changing if this is not going to be our 4. But certainly, I looked at a couple of, is there any possibility we could turn this into maybe a leading diagonal? Just doesn't work. Right, even if you're, because one thing we thought was maybe 1, 2, 3, this is 2 ticks shy of the length of this. Right, so, and this is longer, so it wouldn't work as a diagonal. So process of elimination, ultimately it looks like we've got 3 here, and this move down here would suggest that that's correctly identified. So this impulsive move, now we correct it, another impulse, correct it, last one, we're done. All right, then maybe Nano starts rolling again. All right, guys, that's a challenging one. Good lessons in there, because repeatedly I came across, I can't. Damn it! You know, that's good. It'll force you to think of it differently. Work through the combinations, see what works. Don't fudge an obvious 5. Don't turn it into a 3 just because it's screwing up your count. See if you can do it the right way. It's not easy, right? But through process of elimination, you can get there. All right, guys, that'd probably do it for the week. You guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to you next week.